This is Montgomery, Alabama. It was here on December 1st, 1955, that an African-American woman named Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her bus seat to a white passenger. You see, Montgomery, the capital of Alabama, had a law on the books that required black people to give up their seats in the middle section of the bus after the whites-only section in the front of the bus filled up. This is an exact replica of the National City Lines bus, number 2857, that Rosa Parks was riding that December day in Montgomery. It's currently housed at the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. The original bus also survives, residing at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan.
And when the driver demanded that we give up this seat, I felt that the time had come to not take it anymore. I had had enough, and this was truly the end of being pushed around.
It was Rosa Parks' simple act of civil disobedience that launched a one-year social protest against Montgomery's public bus system. In the end, the U.S. Supreme Court declared the bus segregation laws in Montgomery and the entire nation as an unconstitutional violation of civil rights. Here is the story of Martin Luther King Jr. and the famous Montgomery Bus Boycott. On December 5th, 1955, just 4 days after Rosa Parks was arrested, a large meeting was held here at the Holt Street Baptist Church in Montgomery. When organizers saw the huge crowd, they gave Martin Luther King Jr. 20 minutes to prepare a speech. The speech was a great success, and the black community enthusiastically agreed to support a boycott of the Montgomery public transit system. As you can see, historic Holt Street Baptist Church is now closed. It was shut down in 1998 and relocated to a different part of town. What a significant building. Another classic example of American history just waiting to be discovered on a drive through the American South. Almost immediately, the boycott was effective. Martin Luther King Jr. called it a miracle. Instead of riding buses, the boycotters walked, cycled, carpooled, hitchhiked, and drove horse-drawn buggies. Many taxi drivers in the city supported the boycott by offering 10-cent cab rides to black passengers, matching the normal bus fare. Across the nation, black churches got involved by collecting new and slightly used shoes to send to Montgomery to replace the tattered footwear of its black citizens that were now walking everywhere. The Montgomery transit system had very few riders and quickly faced economic failure. During this time, there was a major resistance from certain white factions. A number of black churches were burned, and boycotters were attacked. Activist leaders' houses were firebombed, including King's. At one point, hundreds of angry African Americans gathered outside King's burned-out house, demanding retaliation. King responded, "If you have weapons, take them home. If you do not have them, please do not seek to get them. We cannot solve this problem through retaliatory violence. We must meet violence with nonviolence. Remember the words of Jesus. He who lives by the sword shall perish by the sword. We must love our white brothers, no matter what they do to us. We must make them know that we love them." Jesus still cries out in words that echo across the centuries. Love your enemies, bless them that curse you, pray for them that despitefully use you. This is what we must live by. We must meet hate with love. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not stop, because God is with the movement. Go home with this glowing faith and this radiant assurance. Ultimately, Martin Luther King Jr. and 89 other boycott leaders were indicted for conspiring to interfere with an Alabama business under an old 1928 statute. Rather than waiting to be arrested, they all turned themselves in as an act of civil defiance. MLK was sentenced to 386 days in jail. But the sentence backfired and got the Montgomery Bus Boycott national attention. Due to the outcry, MLK was released after only 2 weeks. He said, "I was proud of my crime. It was the crime of joining my people in a nonviolent protest against injustice.